To Daily Focus, and I hope you had a great weekend. The Lord saw fit to shower the earth here in Michigan with rain and felt like that the harvest needed a little rain to ripen and finish out. And so he sent us some rain and is doing a little bit more today. But from what it looks like, the rest of the week is going to be beautiful and wonderful fall weather for Michiganders. And wherever you are, I trust that you are just loving life, serving the Lord, trusting Him in every part of your life. Well, I thought about just taking two verses today, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the chapter. And verse number 9 says, exhort servants to be obedient unto their own masters and to please them well in all things, not answering again. In other words, learning to do your job, learning to fulfill your role, learning to enjoy your purpose is part of the job of an employee. In other words, we're not here to run the ship if that's not our role, if that's not our position. If we've been hired to do a specific job description, then that is what we've been hired to do. If inside a structure of a business or a factory or a church or a home, whatever the case may be, if you have a role that's been defined by God or defined by your superiors, then enjoy that. You're not there to question. You're not there to talk back. You're not there to undermine. You're not there to cause doubt. You're out of your role. You're there to do what you've been hired to do. So God is going to say here that Titus is to exhort those employees to be good employees. And what that means is that they're going to please, they're going to seek to fulfill the purpose that their employer hired them. That they're there to make the business successful. They're there to move things forward. They're there to help their boss look good. That is what they do. They please in all things. That's what that is talking about. By not trying to question everything you're asked to do or undermine your job description and try to change it. And then he goes on to say, not purloining. And that word in the Greek simply means to not hold back. It can mean embezzlement, right? Where you hold back funds from where they're intended to go for a different purpose, which is embezzling when you hold it back and benefit personally from something that's not yours to have. But I think it is broader than that. Not purloining means to hold back in any way. In other words, if I just don't give my all to my job, if I'm just haphazard in my approach, if I only do my role half-heartedly, I'm purloining. I'm holding back and not giving what I should give in order for the company to benefit the way that it should benefit. One of my real challenges in our culture today is that, an expectation that you've been hired to do, you're willing to take the job with the expectation, but when you get into the job, you want to tell everybody it's more than what should be expected. It's like, wait a minute, that's wrong. You should give your all. You should have gone in with your eyes open. And if you miss something, you miss something, but you go into it understanding your job is to make that situation successful. And so Titus is under inspiration here by Paul, admonished to make sure that you teach your workers how to approach their job appropriately. And so not purloining means not holding back, but showing all good fidelity, which means have the character, have the integrity to work the whole time and to show up every time. So you show up every time and you work the whole time. I don't skimp. If the boss isn't looking, I don't hold back. If I think I can get away with laziness, I don't try to get away with it. That's not for the Christian. We should have the character and the integrity to do the right thing because it's the right thing. And so that's where it says, not purloining, but showing all good fidelity, that they may adorn the doctrine of God and our Savior in all things. In other words, you're there as an employee to show people Christ. And then he's going to give us this amazing truth that the grace of God has appeared to all men. So there is grace for the employer to find the right employees and to treat them well and appropriate. And there's grace for every employee to manifest Christ in every given situation, no matter what they're facing at work. They have the grace of God. Now it's going to expand beyond that. So this is talking about the older people. You have grace to teach the youngers. Younger, you have grace to receive instruction from the elders. Employees, you have grace to do the work your employer has given you. Employers, you have the grace to find the right people and treat them well. The grace of God hath appeared to all men. The grace of God that bringeth salvation hath appeared to all men, teaching us that denying ungodliness and worldly lust, we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world. In other words, the grace of God helps me to not be lazy. The grace of God helps me to not be selfish. The grace of God helps me not to steal. The grace of God that appeared for salvation helps me to present Christ accurately and appropriately. There is grace, but only if I approach my responsibility humbly. Without humility, there's no grace. God resists the proud, but he gives grace unto the humble. And so here we are learning that embracing the grace of God has to be taught, teaching us. It's not going to be normal. You're not going to normally do your job the way you're supposed to as an employee. You're going to need grace. You're not going to be the boss that you should be without grace. You need grace. And you're not going to grow to be like Jesus without grace. We grow in grace. Therefore, we have to approach it humbly. And so we have to learn. We have to realize this is learned behavior to deny what doesn't represent Christ, ungodliness, and what serves selfishness, right? Worldly lust, that we should live soberly, seriously, righteously, doing what is right, godly, what reflects Christ in this present world, looking for that blessed hope and the glorious appearing of the great God and our Savior, Jesus Christ, who gave himself for us, that he might redeem us from all iniquity and purify unto himself a peculiar people, zealous of good works. These things, Titus, speak and exhort and rebuke with all authority. Let no man despise thee. In other words, these are the truth. These are the truths that people need to hear. So live it, promote it, preach it, act it. Let people realize this is how we see Christ in our lives. So let's not be lazy. Let's not be irresponsible. Let's not see what we can get away with. Let's be people of integrity, whether we're the employer or whether we're the employee. God bless you. I hope you have a great start to your week. I'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.